Occupy protest organizers have reached an agreement with authorities to open up humanitarian corridors on the occupied main roads for emergency services to go through. This as Chief Executive Len Cheng-ying today called on the public to be prepared that this Occupy movement could go on for a long time. Diane To files this report.
Day 3 of the occupation of some trunk roads, and demonstrators continue to flock to core rally zones of Admiralty Central, Causeway Bay and Mong Kok. They've been fencing off some areas they're occupying with metal barricades and road signs, among other materials. But access for emergency services have also been blocked by these structures. Authorities made an urgent appeal this afternoon, stressing that in emergencies, every minute counts.
For those who need medical attention, 1 minute's delay means life or death. So we are very worried about the situation.
Leung gave an example of how rescuers couldn't reach a person who called for help with a twisted ankle at the MTR Admiralty station. Emergency services had to take the train between Central Station and Admiralty to reach the injured, saying the whole mission took some 40 minutes. The potential risk is huge, he said. In response to the criticisms that they're endangering public health and safety, the protest organizers said today they will open up humanitarian corridors to allow emergency vehicles to pass through. The criticisms came early this morning from Chief Executive Len Cheng-ying, who met with Executive Council members to discuss the next step in the stalemate. Before the meeting, Leung said society, especially businesses or residents in areas affected by the protests, need to be prepared psychologically and in practical terms that the Occupy movement will persist for a long time. He stopped short of giving a date for clearing the demonstrators out. Instead, he called on Occupy Central organizers to carry out their promise that if the movement gets out of control, they would direct protesters to go home. And in response to calls for him to step down, Leung said any position change in government right now would mean Hong Kong's next 1 or 2 CEs will continue to be chosen by an election committee instead of through one person, one vote by Hong Kong people. Diane To, TVB News.
The pressure is on for the government as the Federation of Students vowed today to escalate its actions if the administration doesn't respond to its demands in the next couple of days. Actions, the Federation said, may include occupying various government organizations. Stephanie Choi reports.
Rumors of triad involvement in clashes between citizens and protesters in Mong Kok today didn't deter the demonstrators we spoke to.
The only thing I worry is will the police use some force to stop the demonstration?
I don't think any contradiction between triads and the freedom. And maybe we can occupy their heart with love and peace. I think we should trust our people.
A number of participants in the civil disobedience movement have pointed out that there is no coordinating body for the occupation protests in various districts. But over in Admiralty, some were confident that with the shared goal of achieving genuine universal suffrage, personal differences don't matter as much.
We have same ideas, and if we can keep these ideas, and I think we could we can keep our calm to this.
Personally, I am not happy with it because actually I want to go to school. Putting our public examination and our future together, comparing, our future is much more important.
One of the Occupy Central organizers expressed confidence in the participants of the movement and said it's up to the government to bring it to an end.
I don't see why we have to call for stop at this moment, particularly when the government didn't make any substantial response to our demand. If CY Leung wants this occupation to be stopped, the best way is for him to resign immediately.
The Federation of Students said it would step up the Occupy movement if the government doesn't respond in the next couple of days.
There are several foreseeable choices. One is to really widen the occupying area, and another one would be to launch, say, labor strike and other strike from other aspects. And the third part would be to occupy some governmental buildings.
Participants have also gathered near City Hall and outside the Hong Kong Red Cross in Admiralty. The police sent negotiators to Causeway Bay, where demonstrators have gathered around the junction of East Point Road and Yi Wo Street, but the protesters refused to leave. Stephanie Choi, TVB News.
Now, our Ronnie Samtani reported seeing scuffles break out in Mong Kok earlier today. She is now standing by live at the junction of Nathan Road and Argyle Street. Ronnie, how's it going out there right now?
Hi, Sonia. In the evening in Mong Kok, there was a surge of more people coming out, some joining after school, some joining after work. Just now it has been pouring down rain, and so everybody's taken out their umbrellas and raincoats. It hasn't driven anybody away as they continue to chant slogans and they continue to make speeches. Right now, because there is not enough space around the junction of Nathan Road and Argyle Street, many groups have spread down Nathan Road towards the direction of Prince Edward, where a second stage area has been set up. Over there, several groups have also been giving speeches and chanting slogans. During the day, there have been occasional showers. This drove away a lot of protesters earlier, but it seems everyone has returned. Police officers in plain clothes also came down in the afternoon to negotiate with protesters to see if they could move the buses parked here to block the road sections or to open one lane for emergency vehicles. But the groups here refused. More people are expected to come out to Mong Kok tonight, and because more rain is expected, volunteers have been handing out umbrellas and raincoats. That's all from me for now. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Ronnie, thanks so much for that. And earlier today, a man drove his car into a crowd of protesters in Mong Kok. No injuries were reported. Police later arrested a 59-year-old man in Kowloon City on suspicion of dangerous driving in connection with that incident. Diane To has more.
The incident happened at around 2 a.m. As we can see from the footage, the car was driven straight through the crowd of Occupy demonstrators at the junction of Argyle Street and Nathan Road. People managed to jump out of the way in time. They tried to chase after the car, but it didn't stop. This witness said the driver just went straight through the junction. The police later arrested the 59-year-old driver for dangerous driving.
We located some witnesses who saw a grey private car, and we also have information to note about the vehicle number of this car. We located the driver at his residence. We arrested him for dangerous driving because the driving manner was problematic.
Officers said he passed a breathalyzer test and had claimed to be in the area just to meet a friend with no other intention. Chief Executive Leung Chun-ying said today the prompt arrest of the man shows that the police are fair and just in enforcing the law. He said the police have been carrying out their duties in protecting public safety, including the protesters, adding that the officers have a really tough job. Diane To, TVB News.
The White House has made its first official comment on the situation in Hong Kong. It says it's closely following what is going on here and called for elections that offer genuine political choice. Britain's Prime Minister has also spoken on the events in Hong Kong.
The United States urges the Hong Kong authorities to exercise restraint and for protesters to express their views peacefully. We believe that the basic legitimacy of the chief executive in Hong Kong will be greatly enhanced if the Basic Law's ultimate aim of selection of the chief executive by universal suffrage is fulfilled. We also believe that the legitimacy of the chief executive will be enhanced if the election provides the people of Hong Kong a genuine choice of candidates that are representative of the people's and the voters' will.
When we reached the agreement with China, there were details of that agreement about the importance of giving the Hong Kong people a democratic future within this two systems approach that we were setting out with the Chinese. So, of course, I'm deeply concerned about what's happening, and I hope that this issue can be resolved.
Some shops in Mong Kok and Causeway Bay stayed closed today due to Occupy protests, and the retail industry expects a drop in sales within the Golden Week holiday, which starts tomorrow. Liz Yoon has more.
In Tsim Sha Tsui, there were only a few customers in this jewelry shop. Earlier, the manager demanded staff to work more days during the Golden Week holiday, but now he would rather give them the time off. In the past 2 days, sales have dropped by half compared to other busy seasons, he said. And the monthly retail of the shop costs $2 million, putting the daily running cost at around $100,000. This mainland tourist said she planned to come and buy some gold, but the shops weren't open. Over in Mongkok, many shops along Nathan Road were closed. But this tourist said the protest does not bother him.
Well, I'm a tourist, so I don't mind. I'm on holiday, so it's not really a problem for me. And I understand why they're making a stand.
Over in Causeway Bay, shops along Yiwo Street are also affected. This newspaper stall owner said he's suffering hardship. However, several banks which weren't open yesterday are back in service. And sources say the Shenzhen Tourism Authority will stop issuing travel passes for mainlanders who want to visit Hong Kong from tomorrow onwards. Chairman of the Hong Kong Inbound Tour Operators Association, Ricky Jie, said a lot of mainland travel agencies plan to wait and see before arranging Hong Kong tours after October 7th. Michael Lee, Executive Director of the Federation of Hong Kong Hotel Owners, expects around 3 to 4% of customers to cancel their room reservations. Lee also explained that the price of hotel rooms will likely go down due to the cancellation of the National Day fireworks display. The Travel Industry Council of Hong Kong expects 350 mainland tour groups to visit Hong Kong tomorrow, and that the figure shows a 40% growth compared to last year. Liz Yun, TVB News.